Well, hello there. Welcome to the latest episode of Hiker Homily. If this looks familiar, I do change my clothes. Just understand that since I'm all by myself shooting stuff for this channel, just remember that sometimes I'll film 3 or 4 different episodes on the same day. So that's how it is. And as I said, I think once before, the day I decided to film several episodes was a day that we're having 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, regular wind with gusts up to 40. So not outside hiking this time, not outside recording this time, because that would just be a mess. So this time we're going to talk about some tips for, well, they were supposed to be tips for beginners, but a lot of these are also tips for older hikers. All right, so older hikers and brand new hikers, here's some tips for you. And who knows, some of you experienced hikers may find a few things in this. If not, maybe you can, in the comments below later, add your own experience to things and stuff like that. So, number 1, how many times have I said it? Be prepared. What do you know? I did the research, and there's a whole bunch of folks out there that agree with me. Again, not just a scouting motto. Be prepared is cornerstone. I'm going to later on do an episode on Leave No Trace principle number 1. And guess what principle number 1 is for Leave No Trace? Prepare. Yeah. So be prepared. It's important. You've got to research, that way you know it's going to mitigate issues. Okay. Like I say, we're going to get into it deeper when I do the Leave No Trace thing, but having the right equipment, knowing where you're going, knowing your own capabilities, and if you're hiking with others, their capabilities, all that kind of thing. What's in that area? Are there water sources? How long are you going to be there? Is this a day hike? Is this a week-long thing that you're doing? Things like that. All of that helps decide the kind of gear you're going to carry, how much food, the kind of weight you're dealing with, how much physical exertion you're going to be going through, and being prepared for all of that helps mitigate any issues arising from it. So be prepared. Simple tip. I know there's a lot of people out there that just like, nope, I always have my pack ready in my car. Well, that in itself is a preparedness, right? And whenever I feel like going hiking, I just drive to a trailhead, I throw my pack on, and I go. Hey, that's awesome. That's cool. More than likely, because I've done that a few times myself, my pack is ready to go. It's out in my study underneath my desk, and it's pretty much all I gotta do is throw a couple of snacks in it, and bam, I grab it, I put it in my truck, and I head off. Now, more than likely, you're going to a local place that you've hiked before. And things like that. So technically you're prepared. You have your gear all set. That's preparation. And you go to a place that you know and things. There are folks out there who, what I would call foolhardy. They just, grab whatever gear's around them and jump out there because, I'm so tired of life in the city or wherever I'm on, the stress of work, blah, 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 stress of this, stress of that. So off I go. And they go to a place that they've never been to before, get to the trailhead and just start walking. And then they're 3 miles in and they realize, oh, I forgot to fill that with water. Oh, I forgot to put this and that. So now I have this much food with me and things like that. Be prepared is not a bad thing. You want to sniff your nose at it and I don't have to do that. Yeah, whatever. It's still a suggestion. Number 2 tip, fuel. Always, even if it's a simple day hike, you should always have some kind of simple, easy, either protein or some kind of energy type of snack. I'm not talking about, an energy drink and things like that. I'm talking about, for me, I like to use things like a little stick of cheese, some quick protein, an energy bar, protein bar, something like that. Always with me, a couple of them in my pack, just in case. You never know what's going to go on, and once you figure out things like, oh, I'm climbing this hill, especially for those of us when we get older, to mitigate issues. You burn a lot of more calories, and your blood sugar level starts changing a little bit when you're burning those calories, and you haven't eaten, you've burned off this, you burned off that. Pretty soon your blood sugar is starting to get affected. It is good to have those simple snacks to mitigate any issues when you're out there, and you can just keep enjoying the trail. It's just good advice to just be ready. Have fuel with you, and of course, that also includes water. Always have water. If you want to put some electrolytes in it and give you that kind of extra boost, that's awesome too. There's nothing wrong with that, but definitely, at least at the bare minimum, have enough water with you for when you're out there to help prevent things like dehydration and things like that. Another tip, how about some trekking poles? You ever considered that? I know when I was a young man and in good shape, I never ever used trekking poles. But now that I'm older and I look back, there were some times where I bet trekking poles would have helped me in certain situations, just make things a little bit easier. Did I end up having a good time? Did I get out there and finish the hike? I absolutely did. Would it have been a little more, even if it's a little bit enjoyable, if I had trekking poles to help me get up that hill or to help keep balance going down? Yeah, probably. But as a young person, no problems. As an older hiker, with some of the back issues and some of the knee issues that I've kind of developed here and there and things like that, trekking poles are incredible. I don't carry them all the time, full disclosure, especially since I live in the Central Valley, very flat. A lot of the simple places I go to hike, like the Cosumnes River Preserve, some of those favorite places I hike along the levees and things, we're not talking about any elevation changes whatsoever. So I don't tend to use trekking poles. But if I'm going anywhere that may have some kind of elevation changes up in the hills and things like that, trekking poles, big help. So I suggest it. Even if you're a young hiker, I think it can help. If you want to disregard that, you go right ahead. I'm not telling you what to do. It's a suggestion. So go right ahead. Something else is when you're working on your hiking abilities, try to do gradual increases in things, okay? Increase your distances gradually. Increase your elevation attempts gradually. Don't I went out yesterday and I hiked 2 miles and boy, it felt good. So today I'm going to hike 10 miles and I'm going to do a 4,000 foot elevation gain. Okay, stop. It sounds crazy, but there are people out there who will do things like that. They get so excited and they're just like, oh, that felt good yesterday, so I'm going to do 10 times as much because it'll feel 10 times as good, right? Not necessarily. Calm down. But yeah, just take things gradually would be, I think that's a reasonable suggestion, I think. Okay, I did a whole week where I did 3 miles a day, relatively flatland. Okay, so this week I'm going to bump up to 5. I'm going to see if I can get 5 the first couple of days. If it feels good, cool. If it feels like it's too much on my body, I could slack it off a bit, but try for 5. Okay, now I've done a whole week of 5 miles a day. Now I'm going to do 5 miles, but I'm going to go to some places that have, 500-600 foot of elevation change, and then down, and then another couple hundred feet over here, and then down, things like that. So, what I'm getting at, just kind of gradual. You don't have to just totally pump right at it and things like that immediately. Work your way up to it. I have found, especially if you're an older hiker who's trying to get back into it, especially if you're recovering from some kind of an injury or something like that, that's huge. It really is huge to do that. And finally, the final tip would be add some strength training into things. It's, you don't have to be like a pump you up type of super Arnold level iron things. You don't have to be that crazy, but basic weight training, some lifting and things like that helps strengthen muscles you're going to use, and the stronger muscles also help support those joints that are holding you up and going. So you do some basic resistance training with your legs and things like that. That helps strengthen your knee joints and maybe even your ankle joints, maybe even your back and things. Doing the right kind of exercises will help strengthen your core and your back muscles, so that if you do have back problems, that helps alleviate some of the more major issues, will help you with that. So strength training can be pretty important, and a lot of hikers, it's just like, no, I just put on my pack and I go and things like that, and that's my exercise. That's good exercise, it really is. But adding that little extra, like I say, you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to, like, you know, bench press 200 pounds, all that kind of thing. Just basic stuff, very simple, lighter weights, things like that, just some resistance training, enough that it's working your muscles, but not so much that you're just like, you don't have to Hulk out, but just, you know, give your muscles a little bit of a strength workout that not only helps grow those muscles, but also helps, again, with joint support and things like that. So there's basically 5 tips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 tips for not only new hikers, but some of the older hikers like me who are trying to keep things going, doing all of these things that maybe you didn't do before. Starting to do them now could be a big help for getting out there on the trail and staying out there on the trail. And not only that, but enjoying your time while you're out there. You're not like, oh, this is horrible. I'm aching and this feels weak and this is twinging and I can't do this anymore. Keep yourself up to these things, and helping with these tips can help you be out there and enjoy being out there, which is really, that's one of the keys. That's why I'm out there, is to have fun. And that kind of thing helps you have fun. So comments or questions, as always, hikingforhealthca@gmail.com, or of course down below in the comments. Comment on underneath the video, wherever else it gets posted on social media. Other than that, I'm going to go listen to the wind batter things around my backyard and hope I don't lose my greenhouse again. And other than that, I'll catch you later.